shall abide in thy tabernacle? Who shall dwell in thy holy hill? He that walketh uprightly, and worketh righteousness, and speaketh the truth in his heart. He that backbiteth not with his tongue, nor doeth evil to his neighbor, nor taketh up a reproach against his neighbor, in whose eyes a vile person is contemned, but he honoreth them that fear the Lord. He that sweareth to his own hurt, and changeth not. He that putteth not out his money to usury, nor taketh reward against the innocent. He that doeth these things shall never be moved.
Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at Psalm 15,
Okay.
which I always think of as like this ancient checklist, for how to hang out with God.
Yeah.
Like not just, show up, but truly dwell in God's presence.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say, I always struggle to envision that. Like, what does that even look like?
Yeah. It's funny because like that longing for connection,
Yeah.
that desire for like a sense of belonging with something greater than ourselves.
Yeah,
It's a thread that kind of runs through every culture, every time period.
it's true.
And I think Psalm 15, with its talk of like sacred tents
Yes.
and holy mountains, it really taps right into that yearning.
Yeah, those images are so powerful. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I can practically like hear the echoes in that sacred tent, feel the wind on that mountaintop.
Yeah.
It definitely sets the scene for something well sacred, right?
Yeah.
But who exactly gets to be in that scene? That's what I'm curious about.
That's exactly the question that the psalmist is wrestling with. And the answer isn't like some mystical ritual or, secret handshake.
Right.
It's all about character.
Okay.
Verses 2-5 lay out a blueprint
Okay.
for the kind of person who can truly dwell with God.
Gotcha.
And it all starts with integrity.
Okay, so let's get specific.
Yeah.
The psalm mentions walking blamelessly
Mm-hmm.
and doing what is righteous.
Right.
It's not enough to just like talk a good game, right?
Exactly.
You gotta walk the walk.
You have to live it.
Yeah.
And we see this idea echoed throughout history. I mean, think of someone like Nelson Mandela,
Oh, yeah.
who spent decades fighting injustice.
Yeah.
He didn't just preach about equality.
Right.
He lived it,
Yeah.
even when it meant immense personal sacrifice.
Yeah.
That's the kind of integrity Psalm 15 is talking about.
Yeah, it's about aligning our actions with our beliefs.
Yes,
Even when it's hard.
even when it's really difficult.
Which makes me think of those like, what would you do
Yeah.
scenarios.
Right.
Like if you found a wallet full of cash, would you return it? Like it's easy to say you would,
Oh, yeah.
but what about when no one's watching?
Yeah,
That's where true integrity shines through.
absolutely. And it's not just about like grand gestures either.
Right.
It's about the everyday choices we make,
Yeah.
the little compromises we might be tempted to make.
Yeah.
Are we being honest in our dealings with others?
Mm-hmm.
Are we keeping our promises even when it's inconvenient?
Yeah.
These seemingly small actions actually reveal a lot about our character.
So true. Okay, the psalm then dives into something that I'm particularly convicted by.
Okay.
The power of our words.
Oh, yeah.
No slander, no wrong to a neighbor,
Right.
no slur on anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Man, those are tough words to live by.
I think we've all been on both sides of that equation.
Right.
We felt the sting of unkind words,
Yeah,
but we've also probably let a few slip out ourselves.
for sure.
I think Psalm 15 reminds us that our words have weight. They can build up or tear down.
It's like that saying, words are like toothpaste. Once they're out, it's hard to put them back in.
Oh, yeah.
We need to choose our words carefully.
Right.
Because they have a lasting impact.
They really do.
Yes.
And this emphasis on pure speech isn't just about avoiding negativity.
Right.
It's also about speaking truth.
Okay.
offering encouragement,
Yeah.
and using our words to promote kindness and understanding.
So it's not just what we don't say,
Yeah,
but what we do say that matters.
exactly.
Okay, verse 4 then takes it a step further.
Okay.
It's talking about actively choosing good,
Mhm.
despising the vile, and honoring those who fear God.
Yeah.
It's like we're called to be proactive in our goodness,
Right.
not just passively avoid bad stuff.
Exactly. It's about aligning ourselves with what's good,
Yeah,
not just staying neutral.
right.
It's about standing up for what's right, even when it's unpopular.
Yeah,
And it's about surrounding ourselves with people who inspire us to be better,
Got
who embodies the values we aspire to.
that makes me think about like how we choose our friends,
Yeah.
our mentors,
Right.
even the books we read and the shows we watch.
Sure.
Are these influences drawing us closer to the kind of character Psalm 15 describes,
Mhm.
or pulling us away from it?
That's a powerful question.
It is.
I mean, we are shaped by the company we keep,
Yeah.
both in the physical and digital worlds.
So true.
So choosing wisely in those areas can have a huge impact
Yeah.
on our character development.
Okay, and then there's this fascinating bit about financial integrity.
Oh, yeah?
Lending to the poor without interest, refusing bribes.
Interesting.
That feels incredibly relevant
Yeah.
in today's world where we see so much greed and exploitation.
It's striking, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, this psalm, written thousands of years ago,
Right.
speaks directly to issues we grapple with today.
Totally.
The principle's clear.
Okay.
Our financial dealings should reflect fairness and generosity,
Right.
not a desire to exploit others for personal gain.
It really challenges me to think about my own financial practices.
Yeah.
Am I being honest in my business dealings? Am I using my resources to help those in need?
Yeah.
Am I letting greed dictate my decisions?
These are tough questions,
They are.
but essential ones.
Yeah, and the psalm doesn't leave us hanging with
Well,
just a list of rules.
Yeah.
It concludes with an incredible promise.
Okay.
Whoever does these things will never be shaken.
Wow.
That's where it gets really interesting. It's not just about following rules. It's about building a life
Right.
on a solid foundation, a
Yeah.
foundation that can withstand the storms of life.
Imagine a house built on sand
Oh, yeah.
versus a house built on rock
Yeah,
when the storms come.
right.
Which one will stand firm?
The one on the rock.
Exactly. Psalm 15 suggests that living by these principles creates that unshakable foundation,
Okay.
providing stability and resilience in a world that often feels chaotic and uncertain.
So good.
Yeah.
That image of a house built on solid rock really resonates with me.
Yeah.
We all crave that sense of stability, especially in a world that feels increasingly shaky.
Exactly.
So how do we take these ancient principles
Mhm.
and actually apply them to our modern lives?
That's a great question.
Yeah, it really does make you think, like, how do we actually live this out?
Well, one thing that strikes me about Psalm 15
Mm-hmm.
is how it connects our inner world with our outer actions.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about following rules.
Okay.
It's about cultivating a deep sense of integrity.
That word integrity gets thrown around a lot.
It does.
But what does it actually, like, really mean in this context?
I think it's about being the same person on the inside as we are on the outside.
Okay.
It's about aligning our actions with our values,
Right.
our words with our beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
It's about living a life that's congruent,
Okay.
authentic, and true to who we really are.
I've always struggled with that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think we all have these, like, ideal selves that we aspire to be.
Right.
But then reality hits.
Yeah.
And we make compromises. We fall short.
It happens.
How do we bridge that gap? Right.
Between who we want to be and who we actually are.
I think it starts with self-awareness.
Okay.
Taking an honest look at our patterns, our habits,
Mm-hmm.
the choices we make when no one's watching,
Yeah.
and then asking ourselves,
Oh.
are these choices reflecting the kind of person I want to be?
Right.
Are they aligned with the values I claim to hold?
So it's like holding up Psalm 15 as a mirror
Yeah.
and saying, okay, how am I measuring up?
Exactly.
Where am I living out these principles
Mm-hmm.
and where am I falling short?
Exactly. And it's not about beating ourselves up when we fall short.
Right.
It's about using those moments as opportunities for growth,
Okay.
recognizing our weaknesses, asking for forgiveness,
Right.
and then making a conscious effort to do better next time.
Which makes me think about the Psalm's emphasis on relationships.
Mm-hmm.
It specifically calls out slander, gossip.
Right.
And causing harm to our neighbors,
Yes.
like how we treat others,
Yeah.
seems to be a direct reflection
Absolutely.
of our spiritual state.
Okay.
You know, sometimes I think our relationships are the most revealing mirrors of all.
Really?
They show us our strengths and weaknesses,
Okay.
our capacity for love and compassion,
Yeah.
but also our tendencies towards selfishness and judgment.
I know. I've certainly had moments where my words have caused hurt, even unintentionally.
Of course.
And I've also been on the receiving end of unkind words.
Yeah,
It's amazing how much power our words have to build up or tear down.
it's true. And Psalm 15 challenges us to use that power responsibly.
Okay.
It's not just about avoiding negativity.
Mm-hmm.
It's about intentionally choosing words that promote kindness,
Okay.
understanding, and encouragement.
That reminds me of a quote by Mother Teresa.
Oh, yeah.
She said, "Kind words can be short and easy to speak,
Mm-hmm.
but their echoes are truly endless."
I love that.
It's a beautiful reminder that even small acts of kindness
Yeah.
can have a ripple effect.
Absolutely. And those ripples extend beyond our immediate circle. Psalm 15 also challenges us to consider how we treat those outside our inner circle,
Mm-hmm.
those who are different from us,
Yeah.
those who might hold different beliefs or values.
It's easy to be kind to people we like and agree with.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But what about those who challenge us, who rub us the wrong way?
Yeah, that's when it gets really tough.
That's where it gets real.
It is tough, but that's also where true growth happens.
Okay.
Psalm 15 calls us to extend that same kindness and respect
Okay.
to everyone we encounter,
Mhm.
regardless of their background or beliefs.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing the inherent dignity of every human being,
Right.
even those we disagree with.
That makes me think about the current political climate,
Oh, yeah.
where it feels like everyone's retreating to their own echo chambers,
Right. Yeah.
demonizing anyone who holds a different viewpoint.
Yeah, it's tough.
How do we apply this principle of kindness and respect
Right.
in such a polarized environment?
It's a huge challenge, no doubt.
Yeah.
But I think it starts with listening, truly listening to understand, not just to respond or refute.
Oh.
It's about trying to see the world through another person's eyes,
Right.
even if we don't agree with their perspective.
So it's about building bridges instead of walls.
Yeah.
Even when it's hard, even when it feels uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Mm.
And it might not change the other person's mind,
Right.
but it can change our own heart.
Oh, wow.
It can open us up to new perspectives,
Yeah.
new ways of seeing the world. And that's where real transformation begins.
So we've talked about integrity in our actions, integrity in our relationships.
Right.
The psalm also touches on how reverence for God shapes our values.
Yes.
What does that look like in practice?
It's about recognizing that our values aren't just personal preferences.
Okay.
They're rooted in something bigger than ourselves.
Yeah.
And when we truly revere God, our values begin to align with His.
So it's not just about avoiding bad things.
No.
It's about actively choosing what's good, what's noble,
Yeah.
what reflects God's character.
Precisely.
Hmm.
It's about letting our reverence for God inform our choices,
Okay.
our priorities, the way we spend our time, our money, our energy.
Okay.
It's about asking ourselves,
Yeah.
does this decision, this action, this relationship
Right.
align with what I believe about God?
Mm-hmm.
Does it reflect His heart?
That's a powerful question to ask.
Yes.
And it leads us to the final themes the psalm highlights:
Okay.
faithfulness and justice.
These are two sides of the same coin, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think so.
Faithfulness is about keeping our promises,
Okay.
staying true to our commitments,
Right.
even when it's hard,
Yeah.
even when it costs us something.
And justice is about standing up for what's right,
Yeah.
advocating for those who are marginalized, fighting for fairness and equality.
Exactly.
These are both pretty tall orders,
They are.
especially in a world that often rewards shortcuts and self-interest.
They are. But they're also essential if we want to build a world that reflects God's heart. A world where everyone has the opportunity to flourish.
Yeah.
Where the vulnerables are protected.
Hmm.
And where truth and righteousness prevail.
Man, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
Haven't we?
It's like we've been climbing this mountain,
All right.
taking in all these breathtaking views
Mm-hmm.
of integrity relationships, values faithfulness, justice.
It's a lot.
It is, and like any good mountain climb,
Mm-hmm.
it's exhilarating, but also a little daunting.
Yeah.
We've been challenged to look at ourselves honestly,
Right.
to confront some uncomfortable truths,
Yeah.
and to consider what it really means
Right.
to dwell with God.
To really live it out.
Yeah, but the question that keeps coming back to me is like,
Right.
where do we go from here?
Right.
How do we take on this amazing insight
Yeah.
and actually put it into practice
Yeah.
in our everyday lives?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
It's easy to get inspired
Yeah.
doing a conversation like this.
Right.
But then we step back into the real world
Right.
with all its distractions and demands.
Totally. And it's like, wait,
Yeah.
how do I actually live this stuff?
You know, I think one of the biggest tracks we fall into is thinking that we have to do it all at once.
Yeah.
That we have to become these perfect, flawless beings overnight.
Right.
And when we inevitably fall short,
Mm-hmm.
we get discouraged and give up.
Yeah.
But that's not what Psalm 15 is about.
So it's not about reaching some unattainable level of perfection.
No, not at all. It's about progress, not perfection.
Okay.
It's about taking small, consistent steps
Right.
in the right direction.
Right.
And those steps will look different for each of us.
Okay, so maybe instead of trying to overhaul our entire lives,
Yeah.
we focus on one specific area
Uh-huh.
where we want to grow.
Right.
Like if I know I struggle with gossiping,
Okay.
maybe that's my starting point.
Exactly. Choose one principle from Psalm 15 that resonates with you
Okay.
and make that your focus.
Gotcha.
For example, if you want to work on pure speech,
Mm-hmm.
set a goal to catch yourself before you speak negatively about someone,
Right.
or challenge yourself to say something encouraging to someone every day.
It's almost like setting a spiritual fitness goal.
Right.
Instead of saying, I'm going to get in shape, you
Yeah.
say, I'm going to walk for 30 minutes 3 times a week.
Exactly.
It's specific,
Yeah.
it's measurable,
Mhm.
it feels doable.
I love that analogy. And just like with physical fitness,
Yeah.
consistency is key.
Right.
It's not about these grand one-time gestures.
Okay.
It's about showing up day after day, making small choices that move us closer
Right.
to the kind of person we want to be.
So pick your spiritual exercise and then just keep showing up.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to get creative.
Okay.
Maybe you create a visual reminder of your chosen principle
Right.
and put it somewhere you'll see it every day.
Yeah.
Or maybe you journal about your progress,
Okay.
noting your successes and challenges.
What about finding an accountability partner?
Oh, that's a great idea.
Someone you trust. Who can encourage you on this journey?
Absolutely.
I know that's been huge for me in other areas of my life.
Sharing your goals with someone you trust can make a huge difference.
Yeah.
It creates a sense of accountability, and it's incredibly encouraging to know
Yeah.
that someone's cheering you on.
It's like having a spiritual workout buddy.
Exactly.
You can celebrate your victories together.
Yeah.
And encourage each other when you're feeling discouraged.
And remember, setbacks are a normal part of the process.
Oh, for sure.
Don't beat yourself up when you fall short.
Right.
Just acknowledge it.
Okay.
Learn from it and keep moving forward.
It's like learning to ride a bike.
Yeah.
You're going to fall a few times,
Right.
but eventually you find your balance
Mm-hmm.
and you're off.
I love that.
Yeah.
And as you continue on this journey,
Yeah.
remember that you're not alone.
Okay.
God is with you every step of the way, cheering you on, guiding you,
Yeah.
and empowering you to become the person He created you to be.
Yeah. That's such an encouraging thought.
It is.
It takes the pressure off of trying to do it all on our own.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Psalm 15,
Mhm.
I want to leave our listeners with a challenge.
Okay.
Choose one principle from this psalm that speaks to you.
And ask yourself,
Yeah.
what's one small step I can take today to live out this principle more fully?
It could be something as simple as choosing your words more carefully, offering a helping hand to someone in need,
Right.
or taking a few minutes to quiet your mind and connect with God.
Remember, even small steps taken consistently can lead to significant transformation.
That's so true.
And as you embrace this journey,
Mm-hmm.
you'll discover that it's not just about becoming a better person.
Okay.
It's about drawing closer to the heart of God
Right.
and experiencing the fullness of life He intends for you.
Now, thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
May your journey be filled with purpose, joy,
Mm.
and the unshakable peace that comes from dwelling with God.